Hello, everybody, and welcome to my final Neon Dynasty draft. Before I dive in, I want to remind you that if you enjoy this video, subscribe to the channel for more content. It's free, why not? And let's get started. I'm pretty excited for Streets of New Capenna. It looks like a cool set, but let's bid farewell to this one before we get to that point. Okay. Ishin, Two Heavens as One. It's a Mardu card, very unlikely to make the final cut. So I'm not going to be taking it, but it does have some cool synergies. It's just, even though it would be cool to do some sweet stuff, it's really hard to just take a Mardu card. It just leads to a very uninteresting draft. Gravelighter's an interesting card. Spinning Wheel Kick's pretty solid. Oath is pretty good. Probably the best common in this pack. Over, like, Tails. Yeah, it's definitely the best common. I think it's between Gravelighter, Spinning Wheel Kick, and Imperial Oath. I like starting with cheaper cards. Gravelighter's a pretty cool card. And it's between that and the Wheel Kick now for me. Green and black are both pretty strong in my opinion. Black is probably a little bit better, so let's take the Gravelighter. Moving on to pack 2. Mirror Box. Legend rule doesn't apply. Okay, that's not going to be useful. Each non-token creature gets +1 for each creature with the same name. Okay, so we started with a Gravelighter. Pack 2, the only black card in the pack is Virus Beetle, which is a solid card. And it keeps me black and can maybe play well with Gravelighter because I don't mind like playing a Virus Beetle and then sacrificing it to the Gravelighter effect. So that's a little bit of synergy there. Other cards, Master's Rebuke pretty good. Imperial Oath pretty good. Sekenzen Smelter can be good in the right shell. But I don't really see a reason to abandon black. And also, I mean, I guess this is the only black card in the pack, so maybe not sending a lot of signals. So, between that and Imperial Oath and Rebuke. But I like just sticking to one color for now, though I will note that we're seeing a Rebuke and an Oath. Okay. Now we're in pack 3. The only black card in the pack really is this Ambusher. I'm not really a big fan of the Salvage. There's Reality Heist. There's also Replication Specialist, which is a card that I like. And you can play it in like a color combo like blue-black, even though it fits more into like red-blue, because you can just get blue artifacts. After this card, the power level falls down. I still like this card a good amount. And there's also Dismal Backwater. I do like getting dual lands, but I'd rather just be that color before I pick up the dual lands. And so I think Replication Specialist is a pretty nice addition here. I think it's better than the Ambusher, even though Ambusher does have synergy with Virus Beetle. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Inept Mage says he liked the It Beats Me, I Build It series. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Also, this does work with Virus Beetle. Nice, and now we get an Okiba Reckoner raid. It's looking like our starting off in black has been a good move. This card is just the best card in the pack, and also in our main color, so not really much to talk about here. Unforgiving One is a cool card, not necessarily the greatest. It's fine. Skyscraper is pretty solid if you're in the right deck for it, but it's more of like a control finisher. You never really cast it for like 4 mana or anything like that. It's okay that Modified wasn't super supported. You don't need to heavily support every theme for a set to be pretty good. Wow, we're just cruising. We get a Leech Gauntlet, which is not only a nice card just for some life gain, but also works well with Replication Specialist if we go that direction. We are seeing a little bit of red as well, so maybe we could just audible to red-black. But for now, feels good to just know that we're playing a black deck. It would be really hard to shift me off of black at this point. I'm basically locked in on black. And so that means that any pick that I make is going to be taken with the knowledge that if I take a black card, it's guaranteed to make the deck, and any other card is not guaranteed to make the deck. So I can bump up black cards in my pick estimation. So that's just kind of a way you can factor that in. I know people have commented on my videos like, okay, how do you read signals? How do you know when to lock into colors? At this point, 5 picks in, I'm still seeing good black cards. I've got 4 good black cards already. I'm pretty much locked into black at this point. And so now every card that I take that's non-black has to be significantly better to be worth it. So here, there is the best card in the pack that is black, which is Chain Flail Centipede. A card that can do good work. It's an artifact. It's an aggressive card, so I'd like to be an aggressive deck if I'm going to play it, because a 3-mana 2/2 is not the greatest on blocks. The cards in blue, the Covert Tactician, not a particularly good card. It is an artifact, but its ability is not particularly great, and a 3-mana 2/4 is nothing too inspiring. And then Guardians of Oboro is a very defensive card, so another kind of the polar opposite of the Chainflail Centipede. There's also Network Terminal, which is a pretty cool card in the right situation. I think it's between the Network Terminal and the Centipede, actually. And I'm going to take the Terminal because it opens up more possibilities. So the Centipede is the sort of card that's like fine in your deck, but the Network Terminal is the sort of card that if I end up in a deck that would like to have a Network Terminal, it could be one of the more critical cards in my deck. For example, if I decide that I want to splash, maybe I end up with a really good rare and I need that Network Terminal, where I'm never really going to miss the Chainflail Centipede. In this pack, I think the best card is Fang of Shigeki by a pretty wide margin. Just 1/1 Death Touch for one that's also an enchantment is just pretty good. There is a Simian Sling, and we've been seeing some like artifact stuff in red, but I don't really want to push down that lane if I don't see anything like exceptional. There's also Sky Swimmer Koi, but I'd rather just take a little bit of a reach on the Fang of Shigeki, give myself more flexibility going forward in this draft. Okay, there's another Network Terminal. There's also a Mnemonic Sphere. Moth Rider Patrol, never really a card I was super excited about. The Kami, not a great card in my opinion. Reckoner Shakedown, not either. So here, again, there's a Network Terminal. Playing 2 of this card is pretty sketchy though, because you don't want too many do-nothings in your deck. So now that I have one, I don't think I'm going to really go after the second one. There's a Scrapyard Steelbreaker, but I don't think this card's particularly high priority. So I'm just going to take the Sphere and maybe go down the artifact route a little bit, the blue-black artifact route a little bit more. Explore that possibility. And here I'll just take the Blade Blesser. Again, as I said earlier, a black card that is potentially like guaranteed to make my deck is really nice. I do have some artifacts and enchantments already. Enchantment, artifact, artifact. Depending on my color pairing, I already have an enchantment there. And red cards, they just haven't been very strong. Like I'm seeing some of them, but if you fill your deck with weak cards, even if it's an open color, it's not going to necessarily end well for you. So we're just going to keep taking the card that's guaranteed to make the cut. Now it's a little interesting because we're seeing a very late Sokensen Smelter, and I think that's worth speculating on over the suit up. We haven't seen a ton of blue. We've just seen the Replication Specialist, really. And Sokensen Smelter can potentially be one of the better cards in your deck. Here I'll take Reality Heist. Again, very high upside card if I do end up in a heavy artifacts deck, which isn't super likely at this point, but it's also not super likely I'm going to miss out on a Guardians of Oboro. Okay, I'll take Brute Suit. Sometimes you just need one of those. And it's an artifact. Huh. Another Mnemonic Sphere or a Song Shaper. I'll take the Sphere. I don't think Song Shaper's that good. So even though I'm seeing it late, it's just not really a huge signal to me. And it looks like blue is open. Okay. Hoping to get a good black card to start off pack 2. And we deliver with a Life of Toshiro Umezawa. Excellent pickup for us. Restoration of Iganjo is quite nice. It's not really a splashable card, though, because you really just want to play it on turn 3 to get another Plains. And if you're splashing it with only a single Plains in your deck, then you're not going to get to draw a card. So we'll pass that along. Life of Toshiro is a great card for us. It's an enchantment, which is nice to go with our Nezumi Blade Blesser, because we might not have as many enchantments if we are playing blue-black. And then we also have it's a good card, like removal-wise and stuff like that. If I wasn't taking that, it'd be a much harder pick. Maybe I would just take like Inkrise Infiltrator, but that would be really difficult. The pack is pretty bad after the life. This is an interesting spot. I can't really take Boseiju because green didn't seem super open, pack 1. Silver for Master is interesting because if I do end up in this blue-black deck, even though I'm currently leaning more towards like an artifact theme, this card can still just do good work, even if I just get a random Mukutai Ambusher. There's an Enthusiastic Mechanaut, but I'm not going to give up on black, so all my cards would have to involve black in some way. And then there's just a bunch of like generic black cards that are like not particularly high priority. And then there's like Go Shintai. But I think I'm just going to take Silver for Master, even if it's just a 2-drop. It can be scary for my opponents, and they want to remove it or something of that nature as well. And I could still see some ninjas and stuff, and it works well with Virus Beetle. So at this point, I think I'm just going to play this blue-black deck. Maybe go heavier on artifacts. Ooh, the Silencer is very interesting. There's also Modern Age. So 2 good options here. The Silencer goes well with like the Silver for Master, being able to get in for 1. I kind of like the Modern Age, though, just looting more. I'm playing more of a mid-range strategy. Let's just get rid of some of these off-color cards. Looking at our deck, you can see we have a good amount of artifacts. We don't really want to play this Brute suit. We kind of have some artifact synergies, playing a bit more of a mid-range strategy. But if we do end up in blue-black, we are going to be playing more ninja stuff. Not really thinking towards Reliquary here, asked from Inept Mage in chat. Mostly because I would rather just make sure I start getting like solid playables for my deck at this point still. The Silencer hasn't been that impressive. It's been okay, but I think Modern Age has really been a nice card. I always feel pretty good drawing that one. And now, an interesting spot here. Since we are in blue-black at this point, I think, Network Disruptor becomes very appealing. It's an artifact, so it synergizes with Heist, with Specialist. It's a ninja enabler for any ninjas I get to go with the Silver Fur Master. Also, just like a cheap card. It's an artifact to go with Network Terminal. Card I can sacrifice to Gravelighter. Lizard Blades is a fantastic card. Oni Cult Anvil is a fantastic card. But again, just based on the fact that even though I saw a lot of red pack 1, I also saw a lot of blue and a lot of black. Or maybe less black, but I have some good black cards anyway. So I think blue was also open, so I'm just going to take the blue cards because I've already got a better start in that direction. Whew, and now Virus Beetle. This is really a nice spot to be. We've got a good number of artifacts, which is really nice. The Mnemonic Spheres might get cut at some point here, but getting a second Virus Beetle is quite nice. The Guardians of Aboro probably going to get cut because our deck can play a little bit aggressively. I like the fact that we have some enchantments. We have 3 enchantments to go with this Blade Blesser. That actually makes it a pretty solid card. The Death Touch is what you really care about, so the artifacts are the key. But if you have some enchantments, it's also nice to potentially enable both. Okay. So now this is an interesting spot, because there are fine options in our color. There is You Are Already Dead, there is Blade Blesser, and there's like Moonfolk Puzzle Maker, Planar Incision. So there's fine options in our color. But there's also a Bloodfell Caves, which could enable a splash of red if I see something that's worth splashing. And because we already have this network terminal, I could potentially splash red relatively easily if I see something really worth it. And so I'm going to take the Bloodfell Caves, even though an Azumi Blade Blesser would probably make the cut in my deck. Even though a Moonfolk Puzzle Maker probably would make the cut. A You Are Already Dead would probably be fine. Because if I see a card that I really want to splash, this card could help me do so. And then in this pack, I kind of get immediately rewarded. I'm not sure if I want to play the Oni Cult Anvil, but having the option to play the Oni Cult Anvil is certainly nice. So like now I actually have it's a consideration. This isn't the best turn 2 play anyway, so it is a card you can consider splashing. If I played like a single mountain, I have the network terminal. We'll keep it in mind for sure. And that's the sort of flexibility you gain when you take a Bloodfell Caves there, instead of just taking like the lowest common denominator black card. Kumano faces Kakazan. It's like a card you have to play on turn 1, not really a splash candidate. I'm going to take Thundersteel Colossus because there's still a chance that I see the like free from the whatever the card is that lets me get this out super early in the game, which would be really funny. Mechanaut, also not a card that I would consider splashing. We'll just take that guy. I'll take Iron Apprentice. Maybe I'll end up with enough synergy that it'd be worth it, like if I have the Anvil going. There's also Artificer, but I don't really have expensive artifacts. Moonfolk Puzzle Maker can do some good work. We could have had a pretty cool blue-red artifacts deck potentially, but we do have a lot of good black cards, so I don't regret anything really. And now here's a good time to get the Roadside Reliquary. Shrine Steward is fine in some decks. We don't really have the auras to go with it, but Roadside Reliquary could make the cut potentially. Wow, and then Voltage Surge came around. Probably not going to splash that, but I don't really want the Artificer, as I said before. I'm not going to splash a Synthesizer, so I'll just take the Planar Incision. I'd rather send a good red card to the guy next to me, tell them that they can draft red, because I'm not really interested in drafting red. Well, this is why you give yourself the option to splash, because this is a very good card. Fable of the Mirror Breaker, one of the better rares in the set. Just absolutely crushes it. Just being able to like copy a creature is really powerful. I also have some cards that it works really well with. If I have the flip side of this in play and I copy a Virus Beetle, I can make them discard a card in their draw step before they actually get to use that card. If I have a Network Disruptor, I can use it as a removal spell. And I can also like copy a card and then copy that with the replication of the guy. So this is actually a really nice pickup. This is a very splashable card for me, and I already have the tools to splash it thanks to this Bloodfell Caves and the early network terminal that I picked up. So both of those cards are going to be key facilitators in this Fable of the Mirror Breaker I opened. So while it's very fair to say, wow, that was a really lucky open, it's also fair to say that I set myself up to get lucky with that open, because this isn't a blue or black card. I'm not playing blue or black, but I'm still going to be able to get a lot of value here. Oh, it is also very good with Gravelighter. Now here is an interesting pick, because there's a Thundersteel Colossus in my sideboard, and there's an Anchor to Reality here, and that could be really a cool combo to set up. I'm just going to take this Virus Beetle here and hope that the Anchor to Reality wheels. And I won't be that sad if it doesn't, because that combo is more of a meme than anything, but it would be very interesting. So here we're just going to take Virus Beetle. And this deck is looking very strong, I would say. So let's look at this card. We have Malicious Malfunction as an option. All creatures get -2/-2. How many of my cards does that kill? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this card isn't a card I'm interested in putting in my main deck. Other cards to consider, Network Disruptor. I don't have any ninjas that it's particularly good with right now. There's also Lethal Exploit for just a little bit of interaction, which I think I'm going to take here over the Network Disruptor, because while Network Disruptor is higher upside, I'm not sure if I'm actually going to play it in this deck, given that I only have one ninja. And that just makes this card a lot worse. And I don't have that many more picks to find a ninja, whereas Lethal Exploit, being able to shrink something down, can be quite helpful. And see, I immediately get another option to take a Network Disruptor. Makes me pretty glad I have the Lethal Exploit. That is one of the weaknesses of this deck, is it does have very little removal. The Lethal Exploit isn't particularly great because I don't have any ways to really modify my creatures. I don't have counter synergies or anything of that nature. So I don't think I ever really want more than one here. Maybe I just want the high-speed hover bike. Easy Splash Calamity. Well said, Twitch chat. Well said. But, yeah, I don't really want two Lethal Exploits. I don't need another Network Disruptor, but high-speed hover bike can be good. Ooh, interesting spot here. This is another cool pick. I'm just going to make the cards bigger because there are some good ones to look at here. Modern Age, great card. Silencer, also a good card in the right spot. How many creatures do I have to discard, by the way? Whoa, that's new. That's cool. Only 10 creatures, so this card's not doing a ton for me. I think I'm just going to take the Modern Age, make it harder for me to flood out. I do like Searchlight Companion a decent amount. But my deck is really cheap, low to the ground, and Modern Age just helps me make sure I never flood out in the late game, which is really nice. Oh, this is a boon. This is a really nice card to get. Tamiyo's Completion gives me a hard removal spell for if my opponent plays like a must-kill threat. Oh, you're right. It does make Reliquary better. Oh, this is perfect. It's between this and Suit Up. So I can take the Sokenzen and play this as my essentially mountain equivalent. And so the question is Sokenzen, because I'm not like searching up a basic land ever, is Sokenzen better than Suit Up would be better than the like next best card in my deck? And I think the answer is yes. Because I am planning on splashing red, and so the random games, oh my gosh, Thirst for Knowledge. The random games where I get to discard this and get the value is pretty nice. So here it's between Armguard Familiar and Thirst for Knowledge. I do currently have, let's see, artifacts, 10 artifacts. So Thirst for Knowledge is looking pretty good. And I don't think I need more 2-drops. As you can see, I have a billion of them already. I'm currently not planning on playing Anvil. Papercraft Decoy can be playable in some spots here. So I'll consider it. Just as another artifact, so I'll just take that. I'm not currently planning on playing the Anvil. Ooh, we got an Armguard Familiar anyway. Nice. It's a little bit... there's not a card that I think I need to splash, because I already have a lot of playable cards here. Short Circuit's an interesting one. I'm not going to play it, but it's interesting. So we did not wheel the card that would let me play the Thundersteel Colossus. Not a huge deal. Suit Up is kind of removal. That's a bold take. Okay, so let's look at our deck here. Figure out what we want to do. I think we do want to play this Roadside Reliquary. And I think we do want to play 18 lands. I don't think we want to play this mountain. because we're only splashing one red card right now. And when you're only splashing one card, you can use 3 sources. Sometimes it's better to play a little bit more sources, but generally 3 sources is a fine number if you are playing only one card. So we have 1, 2, 3 sources of red. And then if we play like this, we'll have 8 sources of black mana. Let's just see what our colors look like right now. So we have slightly more blue than black. But that's probably going to change when we adjust the deck. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 10, 17. Let's just make this 8. So now we have 8 sources of blue, 8 sources of black, 3 sources of red if we include this. Network Terminal can also be used for other things. We have 18 lands, but Roadside Reliquary can be sacrificed, which is nice. If I was going to play Anvil, I would play an extra mountain, probably over one of the, like, swamp, probably over an island or something. So let's look at this deck. What cards can we immediately cut? So first things first, we don't really need Inkrise Infiltrator. We have so many 2-drops, and this card is just not really doing what we need to do. We don't care about the evasive 2-drop. We just play like a random card on turn 2. So we can cut that. I am considering putting in this Oni Cult Anvil, because it just makes my whole splash more appealing as well. And I do have a lot of artifacts still. I have 12 artifacts. Yeah, let's see what our deck looks like if we put this in. So we would want to add a mountain. So let's just do that. So if we were splashing the Oni Cold Anvil as well. I like this Reality Heist because we do have some pretty good artifacts, but it also is not necessary. I like having this 1 silver for Master just because it's just a fine card to play, and it does have synergies with like Virus Beetles if I get an uncontested attack in. Let's just start cutting our weakest cards. So we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 11, 19. So let's cut 1 island. So this gives us 7 blue sources, 8 black sources, 4 red sources, essentially. We can probably cut Papercraft Decoy. This card has never been that impressive to me. What's our creature count at? We only have 12 creatures. When you have such a low creature count, playing a vehicle like this is much lower value, so I'm going to cut the high-speed hoverbike. I'm going to cut the Papercraft Decoy, I think. Even though Lethal Exploit is bad, I think I just want to have a little bit of ways to interact with what my opponent's doing. I'm going to cut the Network Disruptor, which may be controversial because a lot of people really like that card, but in my deck it doesn't do anything because it's just chipping in for 1 a lot of the time. I already have plenty of like random ground creatures. 12 plus Saga is true. Definitely true. What did I cut? Oh yeah, the high-speed hoverbike. Maybe I'll bring that back in. Papercraft Decoy looks good in theory, but it never actually draws me a card in my experience with it. It like very rarely does. I'm going to cut the Network Disruptor. I'm not a super aggressive deck. The Mnemonic Sphere, I don't think I need 2 Mnemonic Spheres and a Thirst for Knowledge. I think I can cut 1 Mnemonic Sphere pretty comfortably. And then let's check my artifact count for Reality Heist, because if that's too low, then I definitely don't want to. Okay, 10 artifacts. So the way this works, if I'm looking at, yeah, I'm not going to be able to consistently get 2 artifacts off that. So that's a pretty easy cut as well. And so now my deck, it looks like I'm very high on lands if you just look at it. Like my curve ends at 3 essentially, but I'm running 18 lands, and that might look a little questionable. But then you realize that I have this card, which can potentially be a mana, like a land I discard. I have Reliquary, which I can get rid of. I have Network Terminal to get rid of extra lands. And I'm splashing, so I want to be able to hit all of my colors. So I think 18 lands can actually be justified here. And I have 2 Modern Ages to help me use my lands effectively and a Thirst for Knowledge. So I'm not actually worried about running out of stuff to do. Let's just double check our sideboard one more time to see if there's any cards we want to include. Overall, I'm feeling pretty good about this. We could even play Planar Incision because we do have a lot of Enters the Battlefield effects. But I'm comfortable with this one, I think. We have 10 creatures plus all of our sagas. That's good to point that out. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more creatures from saga. So we have a good number of creatures, actually. And so I think this is going to be the build of the deck. Let's make the picture this Replication Specialist because that's one of the cooler cards in our deck. And yeah, that's going to do it for the build. I can definitely come back and make tweaks later, but I'll see you folks in the matches.
Before I get to the games, I want to give a huge shout out to all the patrons who support my content at patreon.com/NicolaiBolas. If you've never seen Patreon, this is what it looks like. It is a crowdfunding site where individuals can support the creators that they enjoy the most directly via a monthly pledge. It is incredibly simple to set up. The rewards that you get for supporting are very transparent and easy to understand, and you can cancel at any time if your circumstances do change. There's tons of extra information on the Patreon page itself, so if you're interested, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/NicolaiBolas. I also want to give a special shout out to all of the patrons who support at the credits level. I really do appreciate it. Without further ado, though, let's get to the games.
Welcome to round one. We have a very interesting hand because we have a lot of red sources, but not a lot of blue sources. But we can play our black cards, so we're going to keep this. Okay. Nice. Network terminal. Play Leech Gauntlet, because if I do get an uncontested attack in, I'll be happier with this one. Nice. Attack first. Play Network Terminal. And now we're in pretty good shape. Oh, they've got a spicy 4-color deck here. Every color but white so far. Wow, they are on a very slow situation here. I'm going to get this Modern Age rolling a little bit. Ooh, this card's going to be good. I'm going to discard this island because I don't need it right now. That's one of the benefits of playing Modern Age. Play, go to combat, attack. And then I'm going to play the Blade Blesser next turn. Get rid of Web Spinner Cuff. Interesting. The Blade Blesser is going to hit them pretty hard because I do have an enchantment and an artifact with multiples of each. What could that possibly be? Hmm. Gravelight is actually a really good draw because if they do play something big and scary, I'll be able to just take it out instantly. Streaming is a lot of fun because I can focus on the game for those parts, and then when there's something boring happening, like my opponent just roping, I can look to chat, and chat says something fun. I'm going to get rid of Roadside Reliquary because I like all of my spells. I think they might have removal or something. Hello, Cornball. 5 colors on turn 4, still no spells. I mean, they have played this. This is a spell. But it's not really doing much for them in terms of defending their life total. Wow, they're just taking it. Well, do they have a sweeper? Maybe. What kind of sweeper could they have? So my first thought is they could have the double black sweeper, but it looks like they maybe are splashing black, so they probably don't have that one. So I'm just going to go full steam ahead and play the Blade Blesser. I'm just going to hope that they don't play deal 2 to everything. And that'll be my strategy. Oh, they have Farewell. That's a bummer. Maybe they have Farewell? I mean, if they do have Farewell, I'm just going to lose. The fact they hadn't played a Plains yet made me think they didn't have Farewell. But here, I'm not just going to play Moonfolk Puzzlemaker to play around -2/-2, because this thing actually presents like very scary clock. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, putting them to 1. And another menace creature, so one blocker won't do it for him. They do have a Kami War, okay, but it looks like we're going to be able to defeat them still. Okay. I could play Arm Guard Familiar. I think I'm going to do that. Even though Moonfolk Puzzlemaker is technically better value for the mana, I like this play because it makes it awkward for them, because then this creature's lethal or this creature's lethal and I have the mana to equip it. Wow. I'm going to discard the Leech Gauntlet. No, I'm not. I'm going to discard the Puzzle Maker. Because I actually have the option of double spelling next turn if I draw a land, which could be beneficial. So having a 2-drop and a 3-drop is better. Looks like I'm going to be able to take them down, though. I've got a lot of threats here. Unless they clear the board with some sort of sweeper, I'll be fine. And we take it down. That's one of the benefits of having a lot of cheap cards, is you can kind of take down your opponents when they do a little bit slower stuff like that. Definitely nice. Definitely a kind of odd game. Those are the sorts of games where you wonder what's in the opponent's hand or how they built their deck. And those are also the sorts of games where it's nice to just have like a consistent early drops in your deck, because you don't have to worry about it. You're going to have stuff to do early in the game. This is a great hand. Oh my gosh. Fantastic. Turn 1 Okiba Reckoner Raid is a great start to a game. Just gives you a nice life total buffer, gives you a great creature that's above rate for 1 mana by a significant amount. Again, we're going to lead with the Leech Gauntlet here, because if they don't play anything on turn 2, or they play something that dies to Life of Toshiro, I can take it out and go forward. Now I will play this. I'll loot away one of my lands. I'm going to discard this island. Maybe not, because I have this thing which wants me to have double blue. But I want to be able to play both those in the same turn. So I'm going to get rid of the island for now. Those sorts of little decisions can make a big difference down the line if you screw those up, which land to discard. There's also the option of not discarding a land at all, which I don't think I want to do in my deck, because my deck is relatively cheap. This is the most expensive card in my deck. I'm totally fine delaying casting that for a little bit. I'd rather just have action. Excellent. Draw a card. Ooh. Well. I think I'm going to get rid of the Silver Fur Master. Though I could pick up this and recast it immediately. Virus Beetle's an option as well. I'm kind of liking that idea of getting rid of the Virus Beetle. Good call. Good call. I was like working my way through the cards. I don't really want to get this because I'm going to probably play it this turn. Just get another couple drain triggers in. I kind of like being able to save this Life of Toshiro, because I really like killing a creature with it. Here is a good trade for me because I trade up on mana. The other option I had that turn was discarding this ninja and then playing Life of Toshiro to give my guy +2/+2 so it could attack past the 3/2. That was a more aggressive line. Wow, they just pick it up. Interesting. I'm just going to play this and sacrifice it. Maybe hit a land. Mm-hmm. This is where I hope they don't have a removal spell, but overall I'm doing okay. If they do have removal, I'm in a bit of trouble, for sure. But I could still potentially race them if I draw something good next turn. I do have 8 points of power +2 from this. So I could potentially really do some damage. Ouch. I do have a double block lined up here. What's the alternative? I hit them back for 7 and put them on a kind of 2-turn clock almost. How am I winning if I do block? Putting them on like a 4-turn. Yeah, I'm not winning if I block, I don't think. Oh, nice pickup. Nice pickup here. So we're gonna play this. Give myself a little chump blocker. It would have been really nice if they hadn't neutralized this in a way that made it so I lost that ability. Definitely keep this in hand because I do have another Modern Age in my deck. I might have lethal on board. Hey, Jonky. Because if I buff this thing and they don't have a flyer or whatever, they go to 2. They can either block this with double blocking and die to these 2 guys, or they can block 1 each on those and die to this. So they need another creature here. And they can't attack with the Kami. I also have Thirst for Knowledge, which is another reason to hold this in hand. I might have been able to do more damage if I hadn't gone for the Silver for Master line. Ooh, they're drawing and discarding, so maybe they're not going to have an answer to do anything at all. Suit up. That definitely doesn't do anything. Ooh. That's tough. That is a tough one for me. Still going to go to this plan here. If I attack with everything, this gets through for 4. This thing will get double blocked by like these two. That thing will get blocked. Oh, this will get double blocked by these two. This will get blocked there, so I don't kill them. I'm going to play the network terminal, and then I'm going to block and use the virus beetle to loot. Not the best situation, but they are on a little bit of pressure here. The circuit mender was a great draw because it gave them not dead this next turn. So that was tough for me for sure. They discarded a blocker, so they probably have some good cards in hand. So if I'm just taking 5, I think I want to leave the virus beetle in play so I can loot next turn as well. If they had attacked with more stuff, I would have jumped. So I didn't die. Oh, the Kami, okay. They're returning Modern Age, are they? Wow. That's interesting. Oh. That is a draw. Keep the aggression going in. Have some more looting here. And once I get the extra guy, I'll be in great shape. So now I just have to survive. They have their 6th mana. And they played it out, which is significant because they do have Modern Age to discard it and stuff. Now is when I start doing some blocks, but now I actually have like Lethal Exploit as a somewhat combat trick to make blocks a little bit more in my favor. So I can line up a favorable double block and then potentially counter their combat trick. So we're going to block like that, and then we're going to double block here. I assume they have something here. No, they do not. See, that's a very favorable exchange for me. I lost a 1-1 and a 2-3, and they lost a 5-5. Never mind. That's bad for me. Very bad. Huh. Interesting. That was well done by them. This card was going to wreck me no matter what, though. Okay, let's discard both of these because they're not helpful. That was not helpful either. that was a tough game to lose, but such is life. You win some, you lose some. Spinning wheel kick coming off the top was bad for me. Or the land, I guess, to cast it for two. Maybe I was supposed to triple block the geothermal Kami as well. Yeah, I no longer have any outs to win. Close one. Very close one. That's just how it goes sometimes, though. You can't always win them. I needed to draw some action on that key turn. I needed them to have a turn that I could use lethal exploit to blow them out a little bit. I knew that it was risky blocking with my Okiba guy. Maybe I was supposed to just also throw a couple more guys into the fray. But I liked keeping the board relatively complex. And killing their vigilance guy seemed like a good bet. Ooh, this is a good hand. Wow, we're just playing our classic black-red deck here. And a roadside reliquary is going to do some work. An individual of culture playing Soul Ring Sleeves, as one does. A high-class individual. When you mulligan and get hit with like a virus beetle effect, it feels so much worse. Oh, goodbye, Goshen Tai. Oh, they're missing lands. Let's just put them out of their misery quickly here. Like next turn I can cast Replication Specialist. Okay, they got a Naturalist. Okay. I'm just going to kill it so they can't get back into the game. Sure. This treasure token is so good with the Oni Cold Anvil. They can get back their Naturalist. Wow, getting rid of Fang. Interesting. This card's actually pretty solid. Like a 3-mana 2/2 double strike is no joke. Oh, what a rip. This is so brutal. I copy it, and then on their turn I get to copy it again, so they just lose 3 cards. Oh, walking in the park. I'm walking in Memphis. Walking with my feet 10 feet off of the ground. Normally I like to throw a magic pun in there, but I couldn't think of one in time. And that's just how it goes. If I win every single remaining game with this deck, I will get into platinum. It's a tall order, you might say. It is tall, but not impossible. Whew. Wait, why is the elephant so small? Is that always been small? The username Mini is seeming really accurate right now. Oh my gosh, my opening hands have been so good today. Look at us go. Reckoner Raid on turn 1 into Virus Beetle into Gravelighter. Oh no, the anti-Gravelighter tech card. Feels bad, man. No. No. No, 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 no. Hit me with your best shot. Come on and hit me with your best shot. Chase is small too. I actually wrote a new article recently about how to get less frustrated playing Magic, and I'm actually really proud of the article. And oh, we didn't play Raid on turn 1 last time, I don't think. There's been a couple games. Yeah, I wrote a new article, and it was about how to get less frustrated playing, and it was generally one of the key points is when you're playing the game for the outcome instead of for the play experience itself, that's when you really can get into trouble. Holy heck, they just voltage surged my 1/1. I'm shocked. Also, Moonfolk Puzzlemaker is just going to shut him down. Like, blocks those guys for days. One thing that I find very interesting is how quickly individuals, I probably should include myself in this, but I'm not in this particular case. How quickly individuals forget the new and exciting things that have kind of happened. So what I mean by this, in some sense, is MTG Arena gets a lot of flack from people. Like, people give it flack all the time. And it is overall a fantastic program for playing the game compared to something like MTGO in many like kind of contexts. Like, I never used to be able to play standard if I wanted to. And as a drafter, I can now actually try playing standard a little bit. Not like, I know that there are flaws with the way standard stuff works, but like compared to MTGO, MTGA is a massive improvement for a lot of players. And people just love to complain about how, like, all the stuff that they don't like about MTG Arena. Like, I could list on, like, easily a bunch of stuff that with MTG Arena that bugs me. And stuff that's like, okay, I wish this was different. I wish they had this feature. I wish they had this feature. Why do they not have this feature? Why is this thing happening when it shouldn't? But, like, overall, as a program, it's got pretty good interfaces. We have human drafting, which is, like, a game changer, which they didn't used to have. And, like, I don't know. I remember the days where it was just bots, and it was so much less fun. Wow, they just played that land out, didn't they? Well, this is a non-vote. Oh, they played it out so they could draw a card with that, maybe. I'll relax. I have a removal spell. I've got this thing, which will eventually draw me 2 cards. Yes, that's what I found as well in Epic Mage. people that have negative opinions are more likely to leave a comment with their complaints, and the people that are happy are more likely to just carry on with their days being happy, which is why there's this like warped notion a lot of the time. Oh, the sting. So now this has menace as well. Scry that away. Huge. Great draw. And we can snipe their last card. And then, because of the way this works, if a creature died, we can kill something with this and then play Gravelighter. So we draw a card. Is it worth trading there? Probably not. Nice. Also, in that similar vein, I know I've just been kind of silent since I made that last point. In a similar vein with regards to complaining, it's I find that it feels that way with kind of life achievements as well, where it's sometimes easy to forget how much better you are at something than you used to be, or how much you've improved at something. Where like, for example, if you're I guess in a magic setting, if you play arena a lot and you're like getting stuck in diamond, it's hard to remember how it felt when you were constantly stuck in like gold in the ranking ladder because you're so frustrated with where you are now. Or at F&M, it's like, oh man, I went 2-1. I was so close to winning, but I couldn't quite conquer the finals. But it's like, well, you did end up doing pretty well because you could have like when you first started drafting, you were never like able to win at all. Man, this menace is so clutch. Get a scry in. Oh, perfect. But it's the same with life. I've noticed with like YouTube stuff and Twitch streaming stuff. Like right now, I have 29 viewers, which when I first started streaming would have been like 3 or 4x my best stream ever or something like that. Like I used to get like when I first started, I would have 5 viewers if I was having like a solid day, and there were like 2 or 3 chatters at once where they'd be like, these people are talking. I know these people because they've hung out in my chat a decent amount. They understand like the kind of inside jokes or whatever. But like, wow, why didn't they equip before attacking? Maybe they have a ninja. But yeah, like I've got 29 viewers, which for me at some points in my streaming, like time of streaming, that would have been a particularly like good stream because I've had more viewers than that in the past. But I haven't streamed in a while. 29 viewers is still so many viewers. Like it's an insane like number to think about. Okay, I'm going to play this land so I can play this and equip. I want to equip to this guy so he'll be 5 power and he can trade with both those guys. And I'm not going to play the Oni Cold Anvil because they might not know they have to block yet. I should have attacked with everyone. I might have lethal on board or something. Death Touch Menace, baby. Yeah. Good point. He does have Death Touch. I should have equipped the Moonfolk Puzzle Maker, maybe. I could have just attacked with everyone, I think, and won the game there, maybe. I do have a link. I have a link to just all of my articles, and then you can find it because it's my newest one. So that should work if you want to read the article, Dakon. But like, honestly, 30 viewers is so many viewers. Like, if you think of a like classroom environment or something, like at a school, you have like 30 students in a classroom or something. Like, that's a lot of people. Hey, Vince, how goes it? Nice to see you. We should definitely talk on the phone sometime soon, Vince. Classic IRL friend turns up to the stream. Okay. Let's equip. There. They have to chump. Definitely. But yeah, as I was saying, 30 viewers is a lot of viewers. Okay, and then we will do this. Discard that. No, we don't want to discard that. Get rid of these two so we can just add to the board immediately. And now sack this thing to get another wounded damage. It's like a full classroom worth of people, which is a lot of people. It's hard to keep track of that sometimes. Boom, nice. The deck is rolling. Got a pretty good record here. I think we're 3-1. Yep, 3-1. As far as final drafts of a format goes, this one is pretty fun. The deck is powerful, the deck is strong, the deck is fun, there's good chat vibes. I'm having a good time returning to the streaming world. Okay, opponent. Let's see what you're up to. Woohoo, a platinum foe. They may look down on the gold players, but little do they know that the gold players are on the up and up. I'm going to play this swamp first. And you may be saying, why would I play this swamp first? And that's because if I do draw an Oni Cold Anvil, I want to have at least the option of playing it. Now, I probably won't play it. I'd still probably play the Arm Guard Familiar, but it's good to have the option. Whoa, this bad boy. Okay. That's honestly going to influence my plays. But they didn't play an island. Because I'm not sure I want to play this guy when they haven't played this yet. Because the bouncing one of my tokens is kind of bad for me. I guess it's good to just get on the warpath though. Let's just hope they don't have an island. And if they do bounce this one, then they won't be able to bounce the other one. It is kind of a brutal setup though. Okay, they don't have an island, which maybe they don't. Oh, rewarded to the max. Nice. Okay, so now they do have the island. So they're going to play this next turn and bounce this guy probably. Let's just tear their hand to shreds. This is going to be brutal. We're going to make them discard like 4 cards here or something. Oh, no, because we can't do it yet. We can't do it quite yet. That would be an absurd block if they did that. They're probably afraid of this combo. And so that's one of the reasons why this is kind of nice, is because we could trade it 1/1 for a 3/3 because they don't know we have a backup Virus Beetle. This card is great. Okay, that is not great. Not great for me. A little bit unfortunate, not gonna lie. We're not in great shape here. Oh my gosh, really? They really played a 4-drop there? Ouch. I can't believe it, honestly. And they have an extra force to discard. That was tough. Oh, thanks, Vince, for the subscription. I appreciate it. Okay, so we get to draw a card now. We're in okay shape. Definitely a winnable spot, but not the best spot, I would say. Hmm. This Death Touch Menace guy is useful. This Menace guy is useful. This Flyer is useful. So I still have some good draws. Oh, that's really bad for me. I'm not in the best shape this game, let's just be honest here. Yikes. That's a good card. So now they can trade it for those two. Still getting rid of 2 guys for my 1 guy is pretty good. So I think we'll do it. Man, Anvil would be a sick draw here. They have reach creatures and flyers, so we're going to have trouble getting through this. Attacking for 11. No blocks. Are they really just playing the Tanuki? No, they are not. They are playing that card. That is not good for me. Oh, they have reach too? You're kidding me. Okay. Well, now would be a time to draw Anvil. We are not looking good against that. They don't have vigilance, though. If I draw Anvil here, I think I could win. Okay, never mind. I can no longer cast Anvil if I do draw it. Okay, they're out of gas. Though, to be fair, they have a lot of gas already. The fact that all their creatures are reach or flying is really not good for me. I think I'm done for this game. Unless they do some math badly. And I draw Anvil, probably. Okay, so we're just going to jump there. Gain our 2 life. Combat a trick. No! Okay, I didn't draw it anyway. If I had drawn Anvil, it would have been brutal, though. That was a tough one. I'm not sure where I was supposed... I mean, I almost took over the game really early on, but then they just had, like, Fade into Antiquity and stuff. If I had waited to cast my... If they hadn't played the 4-mana card, I would have been able to get in a little bit more damage. I don't think it ended up mattering, though. Ugh. A lot of powerful stuff being thrown around that game. A lot of power. I recently discovered the joys of the rowing machine at the gym. I almost like strained my wrist from rowing too much. It's just very satisfying. It's just like, yes, making progress. You can just feel the waves in the virtual rowing experience almost. Highly recommend it. It's a very relaxing gym going activity. Ah, classic 3 colors on turn 3 situation. We will attack. If they trade, it's good for us. We're not going to play the network terminal because if we play that next turn, then we can get 2 spells down at once. Play this into Virus Beetle or into High Speed Hover Bike. And if we play the Hover Bike, then we can play the Moonfolk Puzzle Maker to crew it so we can start scrying, which is a nice combo. Ah, the Befriending of the Moths. Wow, and they're attacking me. I can't believe they're attacking me in this spot where I have like a Leech Gauntlet and a Blade Blister. Oh my gosh, what a draw. So good. I'm just going to play Virus Beetle for now because I want to have something to sacrifice to the Anvil when I first play it. Wow, they have another Befriending the Moths? That's pretty funny. Pretty funny, bud. But I'm like 20, I'm going to be gaining more life. You can't win this race. You cannot win this race, said the hare to the turtle, and then the turtle was like, watch me. In that narrative, it made it sound like the turtle and the hare were kind of competitive individuals. Oh no. I wonder whatever I will do with that. It's got menace now, my friend. Ah, yes, the anvil. Got the hover bike. It's got flash. I think Magic Twitch is a very cool spot. Because Magic is not necessarily the most friendly spectator sport to like someone who doesn't know what's going on. But there's a very nice community of Magic viewers on Twitch. And like, as a viewer myself of many Magic streams, it's just everyone's like a pretty nice streamer. There's not like the random toxic streamer that everyone like kind of gloms to or whatever. I feel like every streamer is pretty positive that I've interacted with. Maybe I just self-select to the positive streamers, but I feel like it's a pretty positive community. MTG is a very nice community. Tap the moth because it's a flyer. Play the puzzle maker. Crew. Scry. Modern Age. Don't really need that right now. Attack. They block a 1/1. Makes sense. Typically, I would sacrifice it, but since I have this thing, I don't want to. I'll get an extra point of damage in at the cost of a 1/1. That seems reasonable to me. Nice. Next turn, the Reckoner Raid guy was going to come, which was going to give my flyer menace. So having them at 2 seemed good. I guess I could have waited a turn to put them to 2. Putting them to 1 is also very appealing. And I'm really happy with the viewership numbers on today's stream. I haven't streamed for a while, and it's so nice to have everyone hanging out. Over 30 folks. A lot of people. Ugh. Magic content goes through cycles, at least for me, in my particular area, which is challenging at times in terms of like sets become more popular, less popular. I become more interested in a new set, less interested as the time goes on. But it's also like it's somewhat inevitable just the way Magic sets come out, but it's also like I'm constantly looking for ways to potentially come up with interesting stuff to do in those like down periods, as it is sometimes said. But yeah. Can be, it's almost like a psychological thing where you're like doing the same thing and it's just not performing as well, or it just performs differently based on the time of the season. And it's hard to just internalize that and be like, yep, that's just how it works. It's not anything you're doing. It's not like people don't like you anymore, or you're all of a sudden bad or something like that. It's just like that's the way it works, and it does take some getting used to. I guess that's just a general musing. Let's just dunk on them by playing our Virus Beetle. Makes Simian Sling look a little bit bad. Ooh, we've been playing against a lot of multicolor decks. Yep, I will block. My 1/1 is just a 1/1. Your 1/1 has added utility. Do they have a removal spell? They do. Could have played Arm Guard Familiar to play around that. Somewhat interesting thought. I don't have an enchantment in play yet. I like holding this hover bike. Well, ask and ye shall receive. I now have an enchantment in play. So I'll either lethal exploit something or high speed hover bike something, or just sacrifice the reliquary. Perfect. I did want to draw a land there because now I have this cool line where I reconfigure this, attach to this to gain some extra life. I now have my treasure token. Oh, I guess I would have had the treasure token to do this anyway. And I get to hold up lethal exploit to kill Brute Suit if they suit it up. Or I can tap it with the hover bike. Which is actually better because then I can crew the hover bike. I must say that was unexpected. I thought they would do something. But I guess they just need the blocker. So I'll tap this now, and then I'll kill it with a brute suit. Oh, I guess they can't use the brute suit. Got the win. Nice. The deck is just cruising. This is a very fun deck. And I was very happy with how I drafted it. I'm just in a good spot. If I could have won one of the games I lost, which I don't think was really possible, the way the cards were dealt, but I would have been able to get into Platinum with this deck, which is, again, thinking about the result instead of the gameplay process itself, which is recipe for potential disaster. But still. This is a very nice atmosphere, I must say. I'm very happy that I was able to stream tonight. Harry say. Okay, good hand. We got Virus Beetle, Gravelighter. Ah, Rabbit Battery. Okay, this could be a quick one. But hopefully we can make some trades to avoid getting completely stomped. I'm going to ditch the Familiar because it trades badly with the 1/1s. And Virus Beetle can work really well with the Master. Wow, Ogre gets so dumpstered by my Virus Beetle. Wow. Next turn I can attack with both. Return one, make them discard another card. It's a pretty good situation. The red splash is working out very nicely. Okay, perfect. I'm just going to discard this to get access to it. The guy was playing a competitive commander deck in a casual tournament. That does not sound like an ideal scenario. I might just trade across the board. That's fine. We will do that. And that. So we can trade there, have our 1/1s. They're probably going to trade here, which is good for us because then our Gravelighter gets to draw a card. Because they didn't want us to ninjutsu something else. Okay, we're ahead here. They only have 3 mana, so they can't cast all of their spells, presumably. And we're at a steady life total. And we have a land that can become something more than a land. Wow, okay. Ouch. Okay, I feel very confident I can win this game. They've got nothing going on. As long as I draw something sometime, I'll be fine. Like any artifact, card draw spell. And they can't cast 5-drops. Okay. Ooh, they're splashing blue. Interesting. If I draw a Thirst for Knowledge, I'll want to have 2 lands in hand, so I'll do this. Ready, opponent? Oh, let's go. Puzzle Maker. Probably gonna just sack the Reliquary to get another card here. Oh, there we go. Scrying is very worthwhile here. I'm gonna gain some life. Hmm. I like it. Gives me an artifact to get this chain rolling. Actually, this thing will give me the artifact from the shaman. And I get to discard these 2 swamps. Huge. I get to get rid of 2 fresh new cards. Oh yeah, Fable is a heck of a draw. I will say. I will agree. Sure. So they're out of gas. Ah! That could be bad. They can hit me for 3 or something. Huh. Nice. Sure. There's a card. I'm going to sacrifice it to start this chain rolling, I think. Oh no, I get to scry and then loot. Never mind, this is way better. Patchwork Automaton. Nope. Nice. And now I'll get the chain rolling. Yep. I had this sitting in play for a long time before it did anything. Kind of funny. I'll take that. I'm going to kill their flyer. I still have enough cards in deck that it's worth looting. Okay, one game to go. We're 6-2. Either we win and are heroes in our final draft of the format, or we lose and still get a solid finish. Okay. Whew, instantly found an opponent. Yawgmoth himself. The turn 1 Reckoner raid. The only way to end the format into double Virus Beetle. We are truly living the Dynasty life. Oh, they mulled the 5. Oh my gosh. They're so doomed. There's no way they can beat double Virus Beetle on a mull the 5 on the play. Oh gosh, this is gonna get ugly. I'm gonna play this guy so I don't take damage from this dude. Hopefully I don't regret it. Wow, they're getting rid of the synthesizer. Okay. And we're getting rid of their last card. Huzzah. Man, Unstoppable Ogre is pitiful. Gotta be said. Wow, they knew they were going to trade with Virus Beetle eventually, so they just blocked. That's next level. Looks like we're going to end the format on a trophy run. You'll love to see it. Shout out to everyone who was here for the journey. Neon Dynasty hype. Ending with style. Give that guy +2/+2 so I can attack with them all. They're just chump blocking. Oh, man. We were 4-2, I believe. Man, what a way to end the format. Real smooth draft, ton of fun. Almost on the cusp of platinum. I felt like I played well. Felt like chat's energy cheered me on. And really happy we got to do this one. This deck was epic. I mean, I was really happy with how I drafted it and how I played. The mental side of it, I didn't really ever get frustrated or tilted. Just all around excellent draft to close out the format. If you did make it all the way to the end of this video, remember to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel for more draft content, click that bell icon so you get notified when I post future videos, and comment below with your questions, thoughts, and feedback. If you did make it all the way till the end of this video, in the comments section down below, leave hashtag smooth finish, because this was a perfect way to end the format. Getting a trophy, or leave hashtag last second trophy, that's another good one, or hashtag last run winning run, or come up with your own creative hashtag. I mean, hashtag turn one raid, hashtag raid boss. I mean, there's so many fun hashtags. But yes, this was a lot of fun. If you enjoyed my Neon Dynasty drafts, maybe leave your favorite moment that you saw in one of my Neon Dynasty draft videos. Also, if you would like to find links to the article that I mentioned, you can find a link to all my articles in the description down below. You can find links to the NicolaiBolas Discord server down below, links to the NicolaiBolas merch store, Twitter account, Twitch stream if you want to catch me streaming live, all of that stuff in the description below. And also, if you would like to support my content directly, if you've been enjoying my videos, finding them helpful, entertaining, and helping you win more drafts, consider becoming a patron, patreon.com/NicolaiBolas. It's thanks to patrons that I'm able to make as much content as I do. Also, if you also gain access to some cool rewards and stuff like that. If you have Amazon Prime, you can also support my content at no extra cost to yourself. Simply follow the instructions in the description. You can link your Amazon account and your Twitch account, and then subscribe to my Twitch channel at no extra cost to yourself. Even if you don't watch stuff on Twitch, it does all go towards the same content pie, and it does help me out, so I appreciate it. But yeah, really fun draft to end things. I'm really happy that we got to end the format with such a sweet victory, and overall just an excellent draft to close things out. That is going to do it for this one, though. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you next time.